Hello and welcome to episode 40 of the CPRW podcast. My name's Colin. We do Colin's Punk Rock World and CPRW Records. Today I'm joined by Dan number 2.
Hiya, how's it going, Colin?
I was worried you weren't going to say anything, but then you just did a peace sign this week. This won't work on Spotify.
I was gonna say something. I've realized it's a podcast by now.
Good job.
It's an audio medium.
Sometimes. So before we get on to the main topic of this podcast today, I just want to firstly congratulate Dan and his band for the gig they've got coming up this week.
Thank you.
Dan is playing with their favorite band of all time, I think, or up there at least. So yeah,
they're my favorite band in the world.
You talk about it.
On the spot. I'm playing with my favorite band in the world, Direct Hit. I've been a fan of them probably for the last, I'd say, 5-6 years, ever since the Wasted Mind record came out. And they're a band that literally is, for me, what punk rock should exactly sound like and what it should feel like. And every time I listen to their records, I get inspired or get excited. So playing with them is like literally the pinnacle for me of like what I could achieve in a band, I think, at the minute. So I'm very, very excited, and that is happening this Friday at New Cross Inn, which hopefully this podcast goes out before Friday, but that will be Friday the 5th at New Cross Inn.
That is the plan.
We are opening. And we're joined by Cereal Box Heroes, Eat Defeat, and of course Direct Hit. And yeah, I'm just over the moon excited. I look a bit tired today because we're practicing a lot, and we were practicing until 12 last night. So yeah,
that's awesome that you're getting to do that. That's the main reason, to be honest, that me and Emma brought tickets, because we're seeing Direct Hit and Eat Defeat at Punk Rock Holiday anyway. So we just wanted to go see Dan have their big moment, or Tape It Shut have their big moment, and yeah, can't wait. Don't start too early because we're coming from Bedford. If we're not there, delay. Paul won't mind.
Yeah. I'll store.
Yeah, just break something. Oops.
But I'll probably say it on stage, but thanks to Paul Smith for putting us on. Like, it's been a long time, and we've talked about it for a long time, so it feels like real. Like now.
This podcast is going to be so much a We Love Paul Smith podcast, isn't it? Oh no.
Yeah.
I just thought about it. I just realized that. But I'm going to get this in there. Fuck Paul Smith. Yeah. So anyway, today. So last podcast we did I know you weren't here. I did this by myself. I was all lonely. I did a preview for Level Up Festival, and today this is a review of Level Up Festival. So yeah, I want to cover all the bands as possible because they all smashed it. So we're trying just not to talk for one band for too long, so this doesn't end up being like a 4-hour long podcast, which it probably deserves, because I say every band was incredible. But we've got stuff to do. You've got stuff to do. Yeah, so we're trying to keep it as what's the right word?
Succinct.
We'll keep it succinct as possible. It's a shame Robin isn't here, because Robin's good at succinct. We are good at ramble. So it happened. They Level Up 3-day Ska Festival, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. At time of recording this, it was last weekend. So the Friday night was just a originally it was just a 4-band bill. Unfortunately, that turned into a 3-band bill, because on the day of the gig, Till Iron Bones, one of their members, unfortunately recorded a positive COVID test. So they had to drop out, which is a shame. I think we're all looking forward to seeing them. But I am sure that they will be on a show at New Cross very soon.
I think they're playing the Dreadnoughts one.
No, I think it's the Bridge City Sinners.
It was one of them.
I cannot tell you that.
Said it was either.
Yeah, I cannot tell you the date off the top of my head, but it's in August. And they also just released their second single, Snakes, which is on Bandcamp, on Spotify, and I guess all the other musical places.
We were chatting with them, and we were saying that it's such a like heartbreaking thing for a band to have to step back from a gig and say like, no, we can't do this because one of us has got COVID, sort of thing. But it is like the right thing to do, and like I really respect them for basically being able to stand up and go, no, one of us has got COVID, we're not going to play. And they were all still there other than their drummer, who was the one with COVID. So like, yeah, absolutely lovely people, and go see them when you can.
Yeah, and it wasn't the last time we saw them on stage in the night either. So, but we'll get on to that. So the band who eventually opened up the festival was Filthy Militia, who released an incredible EP earlier this year called Coping Mechanism. Yeah, because the first one's innocent till proven filthy. Yeah, I've got that the right way around. Yeah. Have you seen them before?
I hadn't seen them until the week before. So I saw them at Fighting Cocks because the Call Me Malcolm and JB Conspiracy were on a big sort of national tour. And they did a warm-up day, which was just Call Me Malcolm headlining with Eat the Evidence and Filthy Militia. And that was the first time I'd seen them, and I thought they were incredible. It was the first time I'd actually met Frosty in person as well, and actually got chatting to him, which was quite a weird thing that like, it's that sort of New Cross thing where like I know somebody but I don't know them until I've actually had a conversation with them and then properly sort of get to know them.
It is the nameless friends kind of thing, isn't it?
Yes, most definitely.
There's a pun. Yeah, I think I really enjoyed the first EP. The second EP, they've gone to another level, and I think they've just gone to just an extra level live as well. They've added Tom and Eve from Lead Shot Hazard to the gang, and which just made them sound, I guess, like a fuller band.
Yeah.
It allows, like, having Tom on guitar as well allows Frosty to move around a bit more while he's singing.
And Frosty is like a really, really good front person, like absolutely brings it, like, and like gets the crowd involved and everything. Like the level that I saw them at Fighting Cocks versus what I saw at New Cross they like huge step up and just brought the crowd and brought the energy that they could have easily been headlining the day and you wouldn't have known the difference. Like they were absolutely incredible. And Frosty sort of led like an aerobics sort of thing where he had half of the crowd bopping up where the other coming up where the other went down, and it was sort of like a weird balancing scale thing.
So many people moaned at him the next day because of that. They ate after that.
It was a real knee workout.
Yeah. I couldn't keep in time either. He was going too quickly.
I thought it was really funny that he was going too quickly with it as well.
Yeah. For a man of for a man of Frosty's size, he's an agile human being.
Yes, most definitely.
But yeah, so they smashed it. Well, what was next there? So Call Me Malcolm were next. Obviously, Call Me Malcolm, New Cross it is just perfect match. I think this was like a co-headline slot for them. I think their man JB both played for about an hour, if I'm remembering rightly. Yeah, I mean, I forget how many times I've seen Call Me Malcolm play New Cross now. Every time it's perfect. They smash it every time.
It's very much like sort of a magical experience. Like it's do you know when you see a band play their hometown and sort of like it feels like it's Call Me Malcolm's hometown when it's not?
Yeah.
It's just like it feels like they belong there. It's like, and that sort of energy sort of radiates into the crowd that like everyone is welcome and it's a place we can all have a great time. And yeah, they played my favorite song off the new album, which is I've got to remember what it's called. It's the one with the really weird name.
Oh yeah, it's like a the one where it's No is War or something. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'll let you find it because
now's is and I don't know.
Hang on, do you need help? Where is it?
It's a word that doesn't work. Is it a
palindrome?
It's one of those. It's a word that's the same forwards as it is backwards.
Yeah, I think that's called a palindrome. I might be wrong. It's like the word Hannah or the name Hannah.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it? Now, sir, a war is won.
Now Sarah Weller is one. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
but that's my favorite, and like every time they play that, it's just incredible. Like the writing in that song is just so good.
They played a few deep cuts as well, didn't they? From like the very
Yeah,
first album. I guess that was just a New Crossing special.
they did it at Fighting Cocks as well. I think they've been playing to those two deep cut songs on the entire tour.
Oh wow! I wondered if that was just because it's obviously. I mean, Kingston, I guess, is another basically hometown show for them. But
They
it
did.
would.
They only played Jacob for Toby though.
Oh
I know
yeah. They did it. He was so happy about it as well, wasn't he? If you don't like our friend Toby,
Yeah.
who has been mentioned on the podcast before, I do want to get him on it because I think that would be brilliant. Yeah, he. I think I'm assuming Jacob's his favorite song, and they dedicated the song to him, and he was so made up afterwards. It was just really nice. I guess I think Toby's been like friends with the band for a very long time now as well, so he was so pumped up afterwards. He was like, "Yep, that was really cool." Because yeah, and I guess the big thing that happened in their set was the multi-person or multi-band rendition of Restore Factory Settings.
Yeah, they got, I'd say, everyone from all the brass sections that were in the room up. So Charlotte from Till on Bones, Eve, and I don't know Filthy Malicious of the horn section. I know Eve, but I don't know the rest of them. They had JB's horn section with Wobble, and they Call Me Malcolm's horn section. They all went into the crowd and made sort of a horn pit almost of just golden instruments, and then sort of like everyone crowded around, and it was beautiful. They played the intro to Restore Factory Settings, and just like it's such a beautiful sound in the middle of the room.
It was amazing.
It wasn't mic'd up. It was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah. I like. Yeah. It was like one of those like very special like level up moments, I think, where it's just like holy moly, this is incredible. I mean, I had short people problems. I couldn't really see a lot of what was going on, but it sounded really good. I guess you had a taller person's view and could see it quite well.
I could see it quite well, and yeah, it was just a great time. It was like sort of a ska all-star moment, like with them all teaming up with it, and it was just fantastic.
Yeah, so that they Call Me Malcolm smashed it, and what was it? They did a little really short like covers melody type thing where they were like warming up for a song or something. They did a bit of Play Some Ska, they did a bit of Drop Your Anchor, and they did another one. And it's bugged me for about a week what it was.
See, that was the one I didn't know.
Yeah, I feel like I knew what it was, but I can't remember what it was.
It would have been like really fitting if it was a post of Chillitown song, but it wasn't.
No.
Was it a Boom song, maybe? Sonic Boom 6 song?
I don't know. I can't even remember like how it went. I can just remember it happening and there being a third song. Yeah, that was cool. But, so for the evening's other headliner, I guess, was the JB Conspiracy, who are just the most incredible bunch of like musicians you ever see on a stage. I don't care what genre. I'm just saying every JB Conspiracy will smash you.
I was so I went to a gig Friday this week, and somebody was chatting to me, and they were like, "Oh, I'm going to Wonkfest tomorrow," and I sort of sat them down and went, "You need to see JB Conspiracy. They're the best band on the bill." I was like, they're just like ungodly how good they are as musicians and how much power they can emanate from their music. Like, it's so powerful. It's gut-wrenchingly powerful. And it's so emotion rich in the music and played so well that I can't begin to sort of tell you how it is to experience it, because it was just so lovely whenever I get to see them play. I think I've seen them 3 times this year, and they just never disappoint. They're like, honestly, for me, they are the best ska band in the UK currently. Like, and getting to see them headline Friday was like the perfect end to Friday for me.
It was. They absolutely smashed it. Luke joined them on stage as well to play Luke from Call Me Malcolm to play the Long Road to Zurich.
Yeah, it was
which was really cool. Like, I mean, that's been quite a cool thing. Like, it was like, across all of Level Out, like people from other bands jumping on stage and helping out and like playing a song, and it's just that this just shows like the strength in this community and how everyone's just with everyone else and rooting for everyone else and helping each other out. It was just really cool. And one last thing I want to say about Friday as well, it was really cool. Like Jack and Charlotte from Till and Bones, they had Charlotte's son with them, and like just seeing, like, I think I'm gonna guess 8. I don't actually know, somewhere between 6 and 10. So we'll go 8. And like he was there, and he just looked like he had the best time. He got on stage and sung with was it Filthy Militia? He got on stage and sung with.
Filthy Militia.
He did when they did.
Jumped up for their last song, "Land of the Dead."
Yeah.
He brought him up with him, and it was he just looked like he was having a great time. Just
because there's not a lot of young people in ska anymore. We discussed this at the festival, didn't we? I was like, Dan, you're probably the youngest person here, and so it's nice to see there are younger kids. I mean, obviously, their parents was in the band, but that they're being exposed to it, and hopefully they'll take that interest, and then the next wave of ska bands will come along in about 15 years.
I think Beth from Till I'm Bones is younger than me.
Okay.
I think that's the only person I can think of, but like it was true on Sunday, I think, not true on Friday because of the child and Beth.
Okay. I mean, there probably were other sort of people around your age who we just don't know. But yeah. So it's cool to see younger people enjoying stuff, and so that was just a really nice moment as well. And like, big up for the New Cross Inn and for allowing the child to be in the venue, and everyone just being really cool about it as well, and like not getting too rowdy around him, and it's just wholesome, wasn't it? Anyway, so that was Friday. So Saturday, Dan number 2 wasn't there because they're an awful human being, and is allowing. Now I have to talk about the whole thing. Would you like to interview me about it?
I can ask you some questions.
I'll have a drink. You ask me questions about it.
What sort of time did you get there? Did you recover from the Friday? Did you have a nice did you get there leisurely, or did you?
So we got there, about 1:30, I think. We were staying in Lewisham. We walked down from where we were staying to the New Cross, which is about half an hour walk because we had time to kill. We did have our breakfast in the Travelodge we were staying at. It said there was a few vegan options in the menu thing for breakfast, so we had breakfast there, and then it was a buffet thing when we got there, and the vegan options were basically mushrooms and pancakes.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But then some hash browns appeared, and I spoke to the chef person. I said, "Can I have some vegan sausages, please?" Because they were advertised. He said, "Yeah, don't worry. How many do you want?" So he brought a couple out. So that was a redeeming thing from that. But we walked down a long road, and there was a shop called Level Up, which I found quite amusing. I was like, "So this is where they got the name from." We think we got to the venue about 1:30. I say Paul was outside. We're chatting with him. He'd just been for a haircut. He looked awful. But it says me with this haircut and beard. But we were talking as like, what could go wrong today? After obviously what had happened with Till and Bones, and he's sort of listing off all these things about bands that could potentially be late, blah blah blah. And little did we know what was coming, what we'll get to. I don't know if you actually know about this. I don't know if you've heard about it. So this might be your first time hearing about it in the podcast. But
I think I heard some things about things going wrong.
Yeah, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll leave suspense for the people for this, because we've got to talk about the opening act first.
So Fidget, I don't know anything about. Is it Fidget and the Twitchers is their full name, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was only Fidget Acoustic because the rest of the band couldn't make it, which was, we met him at the start of the gig. He was just milling around. Everyone was milling around outside, and lovely person. They did an acoustic set. They did it on the floor, which was quite a cool way to do it, and just brought everyone a bit closer. And it was, what's the best way of describing? I've not thought about Level Up much since it happened, to be honest. Should have prepared for this podcast. So I guess they did songs from the Fidget and the Twitches album, which is out, which I've listened to a bit of, and it's really, really cool. The vocal reminds me quite a lot of the chap from Against All Authority, if that's a reference anyone gets, because they are quite a older band now. I'm seeing them at Fest this year. I'm very excited. But yeah, more of the aggressive side of ska punk vocals, I guess, is a good way of describing it.
Just side tangent, one of the reasons my band is called Tape It Shut is because what is it, silence is gold and duct tape is silver, like the lining of the clouds.
Such a good
is a
song.
really cool throwback.
Oh wow, I never knew that. There's a thing we've learned today, everyone. And they did a cover of, I think, second song into the set, they did a cover of Beer of Real Big Fish, because Fred the Punk had requested it like a couple of days before, and they happened to know how to play it. And God love Fred the Punk, one of the best people in the punk scene. Love him.
Absolutely lovely.
So that was really cool because that got the crowd singing like straight away. It was like 2:30 in the afternoon. It was a really good way of just starting the day. And they also did a Leftover Crack song, which I was a bit like, ooh, Leftover Crack, but it was a song about hating the police, because that's what most Leftover Crack songs I think are about.
That's pretty much it. Hate the police, fuck capitalism,
all that kind of stuff. So that was cool, and they did a load of their own songs. Really, really good way of starting the day. Really charismatic performance. Just had a great time. Just a really positive and fun way to start the day. But so as all that was going on, outside some drama was occurring. And we'd sort of heard rumblings, and sort of after Fidget finished the set, we sort of all sort of gradually left the New Cross, and sort of there'd been like, you know, the like the hill that goes down towards the park where like Chicken and the hostel and everything's on. So that had been cornered off by police tape during the set, and we were like, wow, Fidget's Leftover Crack song was very powerful. The song about hating the police, and they've arrived. I sort of said to Paul, I was like, there were all the things you listed that could go wrong. This wasn't on there.
The police siege was not on there.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it turned out there'd been some trouble in one of the flats, I guess, around the corner, and weapons were involved, and we're like, Paul was quite worried about the festival going on, but luckily we managed it. And like, while this was all going on, Belthead and the Dreads were setting up. I don't think they really wanted to be in there. They wanted to see what was going on as well. And it was all just a fun bit of drama to start the day. I think everyone was okay. I know someone got arrested, but I think there was injury, but nothing too bad, hopefully. But it was all quite serious. So just a different way of starting a festival. Like Frosty, when Baldhead had finished setting up and they're about to start, Frosty came out and started to use the phrase, "Everyone quit rubbernecking and come indoors for Baldhead and the Dread." If you know the phrase rubbernecking, I'd never heard it before. I just decided it was Frosty being from the land of posh people, and one of his phrases.
There's sidetracking again. One of my favorite rap lyrics is rubbernecking, double checking, because they rhyme.
Fair enough.
It's like your neck is made of rubber and you're sort of like a cartoon character where you've sort of, your head is still in the place while your body is moving. It's mainly when you're like driving past car crashes. It's basically, he was like, stop being lazy or stop being nosy, easy, come indoors, watch Baldhead. And Baldhead smashed it again. I'm gonna say every band I saw smashed it this weekend or that weekend, because they did. And like, obviously Baldhead, it's been really cool to see their evolution as a band, like how they've grown, how much better they've gotten, how good the songwriting is. Obviously Level Up, so they were messing around a little, they were doing shenanigans, that's what they called it. And so Tommy, their drummer, had some signs, sort of one side said applause, and then the other side of the sign had the smoke weed pet dog lyric on it. Actually, I think you might have seen on the it was on the socials afterwards. Absolutely wonderful.
They did. I think they did their "Gotta Get Through This" cover, as they often do. They teased playing "Smoke Weed, Pet Dogs" 3 or 4 times during the set before finishing with it. And they did a little medley at the start as well. They had "B Sharp Bop," which is the Get Pulled a Crowd Theft song, and he was outside dealing with police things at the time, so missed it. I forget what the other songs in the medley were, but they started with a little medley. They did quite a few songs off the latest EP. Obviously finished in Smoke We Pet Dogs. Tommy played the set wearing a dog mask, as you do. Actually, they didn't finish with that, though. What they finished with was a very, very chaotic version of their New Cross Inn song, which I don't think they've ever actually released. I'm assuming you know it though. New Cross Inn, that's the venue you are in, that one. But they changed it up. So they all changed instruments. So Mike went from keys to drums, Tommy played guitar, James went to bass, and Elle just sang and just spent the most of the set in the crowd. It was all a bit chaotic and a mess, but such a bold head, fun way to finish their set. And I say, I bloody love Boldhead and the Dreads. They're just such a fun band.
Yeah, every time I watched them last year at Till the Fest, and I was like, I love you guys. This is so much fun. It's so enjoyable. And then I got pizza with them and actually met them properly, and like they're just absolutely awesome human beings.
Yeah.
Like, I love you.
Pieces. Shout out to Elle as well, who who filmed the whole thing all weekend, did the after party DJ set as well, the Jar Jar Binks sound system. We did that on the Friday. We're old, we left early, but I'm told quite a few people stuck around for it, which was really cool. Yeah, Boldhead and the Dreads forever.
Tommy was saying that the dog mask was very, very hot.
I can imagine.
It was like he needed to take it off pretty much immediately. It's just like, oh, this is awful.
Yeah, this is one that seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
But Boldhead worked great. And then who was next? Redeemer?
I was about to say, how were the tech metal ska monstrosity of Redeemer?
This Redeemer, they're great, aren't they? I love watching Redeemer. I'm not usually a bigger fan of the heavier side of sort of music, but add a horn section to it, I'm all in. All in. Just techno, just again, like JB, just as the group of musicians, it's just ridiculous to watch it. Like, I really felt like from Redeemer onwards on this day, it was very much, it was ska punk, but not as you know it kind of thing. It was there are lots of bands who push the envelope of what ska can be. So Redeemer, obviously they're sort of metallic ska, they call it, or people have called it. And yeah, just the best way of doing it. Like, Pook is a better front person in the world, maybe, but maybe not, who knows. But he's up there. I love watching him, and just nice to be around him is just top guy. And yeah, so Redeemer were incredible. I think they mostly played songs off of their album, or mini album, whatever you'd call it, their 5-song, half-an-hour epic piece of wonder and masterfulness. That's what I'm going to call that. Yeah, just loads of fun. The crowd, I wonder, like, people were into it, but I've seen people get more into Redeemer at things. Like, I don't know if it's because it was early. People really didn't want to do the old sort of slam dancing, throwing themselves around kind of business, which I get, because it was early and tired. Yeah, so okay, this part of the meeting is going to run out of time soon, so we're going to do a quick PSA, not an advert today, a PSA about. So you've all probably seen at the moment, gigs are not selling very well, which I understand. People don't have as much disposable income at the moment, and there's also just COVID is still a thing, and they are worried about, will be worrying about if gigs go on. But at the same time, it really helps out promoters if you can buy your gig ticket as early as possible. It takes a lot of stress off them if they're going to lose a lot of money, how much they can plan for what they want to do in the future if they know they've got money coming in for the next gigs. And so yeah, I know there's two sides of the coin. People don't have a lot of money at the moment. Energy prices and shit government are making things very difficult for people. But if we want to keep having the things that are making us happy, are giving us that sense of escapism from the shit of everyday life, I guess I don't know if you're saying you need to commit is the right phrase, but
it's more just making sure you buy your tickets as early as possible, because at the minute a lot of promoters are struggling with the point where they've got a gig coming up and they've sold, like, say 10 advance tickets to a huge band, and they've got to take that huge risk of saying to the huge band, we need to try and pay you and sort of put the show on, but we haven't sold anything, so it's not looking good, sort of thing. So just try your best. If you can afford it, buy the tickets early, because it just makes sure that these big bands can come over here and can play these big shows, and the show can go on, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, Dan said it far more eloquently than I did. So do what Dan said. Cool. And we'll be back in just 1 second. All right, so next up were Belgium's Prize Think Camp, which is our good friend Volkert's latest project. He's played every single level up in a different band. So again, here's another one. And going on from what I was saying about how this day felt like the day where ska punk was sort of just pushed to new sort of sounds and worlds, like Prize Think Camp, I think very much fall into that bracket. But like, they're very, very keyboard led ska punk, but they've got a keyboard, guitar and drum setup. And I think they were probably the band on the bill that everyone knew the least about, because they're from Belgium and we're English and we don't listen to European bands because we suck.
They were the band that I was the most upset about missing on Saturday because I didn't go. I think Unity Sausage, which is their most recent album, is absolutely fantastic, and like the keyboard leading everything, like, is my favorite thing about. I love bands with keyboards; they're just like the best. And then their previous like 3-song EP was just absolutely incredible as well. Like, I was really annoyed I didn't get to see them, and because this probably is going to be my only opportunity to see them this year. But they're absolutely incredible. So I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about them, really, because like, yeah.
I don't want to make you feel bad about what you missed, because they were incredible. Like, again, this is like a band who people didn't know a lot about, and how quickly they got their crowd on side with them and were dancing. Like, obviously, all like because one of the promoters for Level Up is Jason, who does El Topo bookings in, I don't know what town in Belgium he's from. I'm a terrible friend. Don't know. But yeah, so like, there's a nice sort of Belgian contingent come over, and they, just the whole group, they bring so much extra like fun to Level Up Festival. So it's cool that they can come over every time. And they're kind of, it sort of been adopted into like the whole sort of New Cross family, I guess. But yes, so they were all down the front, like singing along and really going for it. And that sort of other people then sort of got more involved in how to dance and the skanking stuff. And they got a human pyramid, like a good sort of good one, like 3-story human pyramid, and it sort of survived, which is quite nice. That was quite a cool moment. And yeah, like Volkert's voice, he's got one of the best voices, I think. Like, it lends well to lots of different genres as well. Like one of his the first band I saw him in was a band called Krandasich or something. I probably pronounced it horribly, but they're more on like the folky side. And then he's had more, he had Koala Commission, which is a lot more of like third wave ska, traditional ska punk like we know it. And then Prize Think Camp is more like, he sings a bit heavier, I think, than on his older material, but still really, really good. Like, Lander is an incredible keyboard player. Who knew? And then the drummer as well, just a lot of fun. They're just, yeah, just a really good set. If you've not listened to them yet, go check them out. And hopefully I mean, I'm sure Volkert will be over in some capacity next year. It might be in a new band, knowing him, but hopefully, yeah, like Prize Think Camp will come back over and maybe just play a few more places, do a little tour around the festival as well, because they're an incredible band. Such a unique sound.
I think come play Reading anytime they want.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm sure like the Fishlock would have them in Bristol as well. So
yeah,
yes, that's such a good band. Yeah, and just hanging out with Volkert over the whole weekend, it was just that was just another really cool thing. Like obviously we've had things like NPF and Tilderfest and Booze Cruise, whatever, where we've been out to hang out with friends and stuff, but we haven't seen the Belgians in since last Level Up, basically. So it's just really cool to hang out with them and to catch up with Volker. And you got to meet Volker without realizing what band he was in. And
I met him on Friday and gushed about how I was annoyed that I was missing Price Dink Camp, and he was like, "I'm in Price Dink Camp." I was like, "Of course you are."
That works. I can remember years ago, so a similar incident. We were at MPF. I was talking with Matt in nutrition, and then Bev came over, started talking to him, and Matt had never met Bev before, didn't know what it looked like, and was just having a chat. And then it was like he eventually clocked who Bev was, and like part of like TNS, part of MPF. And I think afterwards Matt was like, "Why didn't you fucking tell me?"
I've got a better one where me and a friend were basically at Fishlock this year, and we were chatting to my friend doesn't know people from the wider punk scene, and we were chatting to Andy from TNS, and he was chatting about how much he loved, my friend was chatting about how much he loved MPF and the previous year when we'd gone, and how much he was looking forward to it and how he was excited. And he was just like, the sense of community and the bands they booked, they must be incredible. And Andy was just like sort of nodding there, like knowing that Sean had no idea who he was.
Brilliant.
Which was incredible.
Did you not say, "Hey, yeah, this is Andy, he helps put it on"?
Yeah, I did right at the end, and he went, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah."
That's really cool. Good. That's really cool that people do take the time to talk about how good that is still, and lovely to see it. Yeah, so Price Dink Camp smashed it, obviously. And then who was on after Price Dink Camp? Harajan. So yeah, so this really handy thing about Level Up this year was there was half-hour breaks between each band, and they didn't have the downstairs acoustic deck this year, which originally I thought a bit of a shame because it was always offered something different, and we're never going to forget that Just Say Nay acoustic squeezing 9 people into the corner of the basement set, which was probably top 5 Level Up sets of all time. And but then at the same time, it was nice to have a longer break, one to just catch up and talk to your friends, and then proper time to go and get something to eat as well without having to pick a band to miss.
Yeah, so I was about to say, like, I must have had like a bunch of breaks on Sunday, but I didn't miss anyone. Even like I caught like a bit of everyone. I never missed a single thing. I think the breaks were perfect.
Like talking to Volker on, I think it was when I spoke to him Friday, he was saying that he was a bit worried that they had like the dinner time set and everyone would just sort of disappear because they don't know who they are. But luckily that wasn't the case, and they played to a packed room. But yeah, so we took the chance to go get something to eat from the standard wrap place, Beirut, I think it's called. Recommend it. And we sort of stood outside the venue eating that, and as Harajan sound checked or whatnot, and managed to get it finished before they started. And Harajan are another incredible band doing really cool things with ska. I find it hard to describe like them as their sound, because they're not really that punky, but they're not also not that traditional either. They do just have their really own unique sound. Like you listen to Harajan and you know you're listening to Harajan.
I think I've only listened to the one album by them, but there's like something uniquely calming about their music as well. Like it feels like almost trance-like in some of the states, and sort of like it's very punky and ethic and sort of how it's presented, but it's also very ska in the sort of way it's played and the techniques used, and like it like also dabbles in reggae and dub in sort of a sense as well. And like they're really, really cool. I haven't actually seen them live, but like
and the horn lines as well are just so good on that album. And like seeing it live, I think the singer's name is Mike. His voice is, again, no one else has that voice. It's kind of acts as another instrument as well as words, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Like, and it's cool to see them come down to London and play, because I don't think they get this way often at all. So it's cool to see people get it as well, and loads of people down the front having a dance, and I had a dance despite my very full stomach from my rap. But yeah, that was really cool. Harajan, great. If you've not listened to the album, I believe it's self-titled. It's on TNS. Go buy a record from TNS because it's a double LP. Yellow, there's a yellow one and a black one, I believe. And yeah, just a really, really good band, really good live. Cool to see him play New Cross. And then who was that? Abracadabra. Wow. They were more of the traditional ska punk sounding band.
They're the only band on the entire lineup I've never heard of or listened to.
Oh, really?
I've only heard of them this week when I saw them on the lineup. Yeah. Do you want to pitch them to me?
Let me tell you all about them.
Yeah, I'm interested.
So they are I think 7-piece ska punk band from Brazil who are currently on a massive tour of the UK. Obviously, I think they started in Level Up and they've been up to Scotland. They're going over to Europe. They're playing in France with the Bouncing Souls, which is pretty cool. Nice. And they're also doing Rebellion and Punk Rock Holiday and some other festivals. And yeah, so they're one of their lead singers. We've got 3 lead singers, but one of them is Trosso, who plays sax for Popes of Chillitown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're more on yeah, do you know We Are the Union, sort of more of the pop punk with horns kind of sound. Just really, really, really good live band, really tight, high energy, get you going, get your knees up. And yeah, they played Level Up in whenever the last one was, 2019, and it's cool to see them come back and play another really good. I feel like people were more aware of them this time as well, because they just released the newest album, which Pookout Records is selling. And yeah, just really tight, fun pop punk ska band who were one of my highlights of the day. I'm looking forward to seeing them again at Punk Rock Holiday. And yeah, it's also just cool to see a band from Brazil being able to come over, especially in the current climate of the world. So yeah, you should check them out if you haven't listened to them. I'm surprised you haven't.
Yeah, I'll pick up an album. It sounds like right on my street.
It's a really, really good band name as well. Ska bands love a pun name, and that's one of the best ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then who was next? Andy B in the World, I believe.
Yeah.
The page I was on. Yeah, Andy B in the World. So I think we've spoken quite a bit about Andy B and the project on the podcast before. But if you don't know, Andy B is Andy Baker, formerly of Fandangle and New Riot and Upbeat All Stars. He sort of started a project to put together an album which was just comprised of as many different of people from the ska and punk world as he could possibly get. I forget how many people are on the album. It took him years to do the first album. It's incredible. If you've not listened to it yet, it's called The First One, also on Pookout Records. It mixes ska, punk, folk. Just really good, uplifting album. Talks about politics, talks about mental health. But he originally was never going to perform it live because obviously getting the guests and whatnot and the sheer scale of it. But I think Paul convinced him to do it, and he did an album launch show at New Cross last year. They've done a couple of other shows. Paul's gotten back for Level Up, but he's got his own band now, and he sings, but he'll admit himself he's not a singer. And Andy, I love you, but you're not a singer. Nor am I, though. So who am I to talk? But yeah, and they didn't get to. They only got a 40-minute set, which I would have liked the longer set if I'm gonna complain about anything, because it's such a good album and I want to hear more of it. But yeah, they had a couple of guests. They had a chap whose name I don't know, who was in a band who I don't know, but he sung some songs. This is really poor journalism. Sorry. I think it Make It Better Last, I think his band name was. Something like that. But yeah, we'll skip over that. It was really good.
The album is I was just checking, is 49 minutes, so they must have played pretty much everything bar 2 songs.
They did a new song, and obviously they had the guests. That takes time, but they did quite a long set. I did a cover. What did they do a cover of? They did a cover of a cover. They did Real Big Fish covered Children of the Revolution.
Yes.
They did a cover of that, which was fun. Yeah, and they had Tommy, who used to be in Fandango with Andy, come and sing a song.
Nice.
And then this was the big one. I did not know this was going to happen, and it blew my tiny mind, and it made me really happy. They had Al from Sponge come and did.
Oh, wow.
He's on a song on the album, which I forget the name of because I'm awful, but it's a really good song. But they also did Kicking Pigeons.
Nice.
And the room went off, and it was just so like I said to Paul after, like, did you know? And he was like, I knew that Al was coming. He didn't know they were going to do Kicking Pigeons, but it was such a cool moment, and I was so pleased. I would have been absolutely heartbroken if I'd have missed that, because we all know how much I love Sponge. They are the reason this exists. So yeah, Andy B, really, really cool. And I mean, as I say, they don't play that often because of the logistical reasons, and they're not supposed to be a live band. So yeah, if you can ever go see them, make the most of the opportunity, and they are making 2 new albums as well. That Andy's doing an album like the first one, where it's just finding all the musicians in the world who want to be on the album to get involved in the album, and they actually recorded the crowd singing something. Hey, I think we all shouted. So I'm going to be on the new Andy B album. I expect first name in the credits, because I am Colin from Colin's Punk Rock World. That's the second vocals I've recorded this year. Getting famous, mate. And then they're also doing an album as the band as well, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, Andy B, really, really good. Then Popes of Chillitown headlined, and obviously Popes of Chillitown destroyed it because they're the Popes of Chillitown, and they always. I don't think they even did a proper sound check from what I gather. They just went on stage and annihilated the New Cross Inn. As they're such a good, like, have you ever come away from a Popes of Chillitown gig and not just been like, they are incredible?
Oh, they're a force. Like, I've watched them play to 12 people and they've been a force. I've watched them play to 7 people and they've been an absolute force. Like, they're incredible. Like, and especially like the range of material now, I really, really enjoy. And like the Tarzan's rapping is just like so good, and like the hooks and the horn lines and just how they get the crowd going, it's just absolutely incredible every single time.
It always amazes me. Like the last few times I've seen them, like I've seen them, like must have seen them 3 or 4 times since like lockdown ended, and like I think the 3rd song on each set has been Wisdom Teeth, which is arguably their most well-known song. And they
close them with Wisdom,
and they go 3rd with it, which sort of shows the strength of their set. Like they can go 3rd with their most popular song. And yeah, so like we went in the room quite as they were starting because we were talking outside and it was really hot in the venue, because why are we putting gigs on in the summer? So the room was packed, so we just sort of hung out at the back towards the door, and just seeing that many people just losing their minds to the band, like crowd surfing and all the shenanigans. And yeah, Popes of Chillitown, what an amazing band, and they such hard workers. I think they're working on a new album as well, so I'm really looking forward to that.
That'd be number 4 for them.
It will, and which is again amazing in itself. That is ska band can. I mean, I think they've had lineup changes over the years. I think their current lineup is probably the strongest they've had so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is again is saying a lot because they've always been really good. Yeah, Pope's fucking brilliant. And then we had the after party band, which we stayed along for because we were staying at a hotel, and that was quite handy. Which was the El Topo All-Star Band, which is, do you know about them? Do I need to explain them? The listeners might need to know.
It's the Belgians and a bunch of B-sharp people all teaming up to do a big cover set, is what I'm aware of.
Incorrect, almost. It's just basically the Belgians. Just the Belgians. I think Tommy played on one song at the end of the gig just because. But I was right. Almost. Almost. Don't make me fire you. I don't want to talk to myself again. Yeah, so they again, I was talking to Folk. I spoke to Folk at loads of the weekend. It was lovely. Yeah, he was sort of saying that he was a bit worried about the set because of they'd all been drinking all day, and he felt like the pressure of like having to carry it because he's like sings and plays guitar. But I was like, don't worry about it. It's no one's expecting this to be a masterpiece. No one cares about a cover set being good. They care about it being fun.
Yeah.
And especially at an after party cover set, which is when all cover sets should be, if you ask me. But yeah, and it was the most amount of fun. They sound checked with Time Bomb, Rancid. They played that song about 4 times during the set. Just why not? It's Rancid, it's Time Bomb. And then they did like Backstreet Boys. They did some Britney Spears. Lando played the piano or keyboard introduction to Africa by Toto, but then they didn't do the rest of the song. They did.
I heard he completely butchered the Toto Africa.
He was very intoxicated.
Yeah.
But so much fun. And they did Eminem, Lose Yourself, which is incredible as Scar. Just again, it was so much fun. What else did they play? They did. I don't know the name of the song, but you know, Jesus is a friend of mine. No.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. They changed the lyrics to like Jason, Fishlock, and Paul. I did the theme tune to a Belgian kids cartoon or kids show that obviously no one understood other than the Belgian people there. But yeah, just so much fun, so good. I hope they become a fixture of a Level Up forever, because it's ridiculous. It's such a good way to end the Saturday. Everyone's in such high spirits, and yeah, loved it. There is talk of the people in B Sharp or the New Cross gang sort of putting their own cover set together for next year.
About this.
I don't know if it will happen, but I've suggested if they do that, they should do like the opposite of the El Topo songs. So if they like El Topo do Backstreet Boys,
they do NSYNC.
They do NSYNC, yeah, and like instead of doing Britney, do Christina, and do. I don't know who the equivalent to Eminem is. Dr. Dre, I guess. 50 Cent.
No.
I don't know. I'm not cool enough to know about rap music. But yeah, just do that. It'd just be. I think that'll be a lot of fun. But if that happens, that'd be great. Just have a cover battle medley. That'd be fun as well. To see how many people they could fit on a stage and do a cover set all together and really piss off the sound man at like midnight after a day of ska punk.
I really just like the idea of just bringing on like different people that we know from New Cross, just like literally every like 3 songs changing out members and just like it being absolute madness and trying to keep control of it. Yeah, it would be quite entertaining.
That will not happen. But yeah,
I know, especially with the amount of alcohol and intoxicated people.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be very good.
It'd be fun. So yeah, that was Saturday, an amazing day. And then Sunday happened and Dan was back, so I can stop having to remember what happened. Hooray.
Hooray. I returned.
We started our day with a roast dinner at the New Cross house across the road. Paul and Tommy joined me and Emma. I brought some football stickers, which has started a new collection in my life. So if you're out there and you're listening and you've collected football stickers, I'm trying to get as many Crystal Palace ones from over the years as I possibly can. If you've got any, get in touch because I'd like more and I don't want to spend lots of money. And Emma really doesn't want me to spend lots of money. So please do that.
Incredible.
I've got some swaps if you want them.
You sound like you had a pretty chilled one while I woke up late, missed a train and started sprinting places to try and get to on time before Boom Boom Raccoon started, and then I got there with like 30 minutes to spare.
Yeah, I think
I arrived out of breath and was like, "Oh, hi, Colin."
Sounds about right. Now I think Paul did the same with Fidget on the Saturday. So obviously, because they're acoustic, the band after them was sound checking. So that was all set up. So like, go on a bit late if you want to get more people here. So yeah. I think that was the plan, and it worked again because there were more people there. So it's almost like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
One awful human. Yeah. So Boom Boom Raccoon opened. What did you think?
They're honest. I think did I say it this year on the podcast? I don't think I have. I think honestly they're one of the bands that I like literally hate missing because like I think they're incredible. I've known Ivo for a long time now, and seeing like I've been watching Boom Boom Raccoon since they started and seeing their progression as a band, and it's like folk punk ska, but like it's super political in all of the right ways. And like all of the songs sort of have like a political like meaning to them, but like they're like cast in like a fun way. So it's like, instead of, a lot of political punk is usually pointing at an issue and saying this thing is bad, Boom Boom Raccoon is like pointing at something going, this thing is bad, this is a good like alternative, here is like some fun we can have with it. So they've got a song about like needing paper and stationery and stealing it all from the bank because banks will give you it for free, and it's incredible. They've got a new song which is called Things Are Yellow and Black and Are Better Than ANCAP, which is like, I've heard it now enough times to know the lyrics even though it's not on a record yet, and it's absolutely incredible. And just like, as musicians, it like has so much of them into the song that it feels like it couldn't be played by anybody but Boom Boom Raccoon.
That song, like, it amazes me how Ivo remembers the lyrics, because there are so many words in that song. And it must be what, a 4 or 5 minute long song, it feels like.
It's a 4 or 5 minute song. It's probably got like 500 plus words in it. It's absolutely incredible.
Like, just I think their songwriting is really underrated. Like,
it's my favorite thing about them is like their songs are just absolutely incredible. Like, they're just genius.
Yeah, I've must have seen them a few times since lockdown as well, and I think they're one of those bands that get better every single time.
Yeah,
and it's just cool to sit there. They're one of the, I think I said this in the preview about them. Like, obviously they're based in Bristol, I think, or around that area, and then but when they come to New Cross, they feel like they're a New Cross band.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like say Leadshot Hazard or Call Me Malcolm or Popes or any of the regulars. Boom Boom Raccoon have that same sort of feeling about them.
There's that sort of energy to them. It's incredible. Yeah, I just absolutely love them and love them every single time. And having them do Boom Boom Raccoon, the Vega Boys cover /
parody
real song, was incredible. And like, yeah, just absolutely got people going in the right mood for the beginning of the day, which brought us on to plot 32.
Excellent segue.
Yeah, thank you.
Well
done. Yeah, plot 32. They're from they come down from Leeds. They were one of the bands I was most looking forward to for the whole weekend, and they did not disappoint in the slightest. They were very much skeleton crew. Plot 32. They had Catherine playing bass rather than guitar because their normal bassist, I guess, couldn't make the show, and their sax player recently had a baby, so they couldn't come down. So they were very skeleton crew, sort of plot 32, but they were still really, really good.
Yeah.
Did you see them at MPF?
We both saw them at MPF.
Yeah.
I was right behind you.
You were behind me, then that's why I didn't know you were there. I was really concentrating on what's in front of me. And they smashed it there. And this show obviously wasn't quite as chaotic as that, because it wasn't like basically an after party. It was an early Sunday morning start or Sunday afternoon start, but still got a good amount of people skanking along and singing, and it's really tight. I feel they're like one of those bands who I wish I could see like every week, and I think I'd still be very much entertained by them.
They're absolutely entertaining every single time. Both times I've seen them, I've just thought these guys are so much fun, like so enjoyable to watch, and they so get the energy and like and
they've got that sort of Yorkshire sense of humor about it as well. Like they obviously know their roots. Like Stash, their front person, is just incredible to watch.
Yeah,
I did worry their trousers were going to fall down at one point, which I don't need to see. But like Liz on drums is like the happiest drummer in the world. So good.
And they also did a cover of Boom Boom.
Yep.
So within an hour of each other, Boom Boom Raccoon and Plot 32 have both played versions of the same song. I was chatting to them afterwards, and they were like, "Well, we did play it first, so we should be allowed to play."
Yeah.
And I thought, But like Ivo was like in the crowd having a great time dancing along, so it's all good.
Yeah. I don't think there was beef. I thought they just all found it quite funny, and
Yeah,
I think the crowd also found it very funny.
funny.
There's a weird thing with like the UK punk scene at the moment. Everyone loves the Finger Boys.
Yeah, it's because they're incredible.
Yeah, like
Our old bass player was obsessed with them.
were you even old enough to remember when that they first came around?
No,
No, wow. That says the strength of those songs. The youth are into it.
Yeah,
It's like the Beatles.
the Vega Boys are better.
I mean, I'd argue they are. The
Hot
Beatles are
take.
the Beatles are the most overrated band ever, other than Oasis. Just to get me some more hate. Yeah. So next up, well, I'm going to move on. There's a Lead Shot Hazard, who are new cross regulars. They were brilliant, as per.
Yeah.
They had a Snowy from Codename Colin join them to play trumpet.
Yeah.
Just to add to the community sort of feel, like add another horn player. Why not? He was going anyway to play with his band. I don't know if he's been playing with them regularly or not. It was just a fun level up thing, but it was cool. Add an extra body on the stage because that's what all ska bands need, more people. Yeah. So what happened during? This is a thing that happened during Lead Shot's performance. Oh, good old Frosty. They stuck a load of t-shirts to him and then sent him out into the crowd. And then people took the t-shirts. They're special limited edition ones they printed just for the festival. I think it was about 20 t-shirts. And poor old Frosty got manhandled by the crowd. I'm sure he loved it. That was fun. Like Lead Shot Hazard are one of the best live bands, I think. I don't feel like I ever listen to them enough, but whenever I see them, I'm like, this is such a good band.
They are incredible. I had the pleasure of playing with them in Reading a couple of years back, and like they've moved up significantly. Like they're so much better as musicians, and like they're playing so well, and it's amazing to see them. And I think their songwriting from the album is absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see more of them basically, and see them sort of more often in the next couple of years, because they're incredible, and they will become that sort of Call Me Malcolm, JB Conspiracy level if they keep going, and they're incredible.
Yeah, really good. They did a cover of My Friends Over You, Newfound Glory, which they often do now, and they did the thing where the horn section gets in the crowd and plays some songs and have a dance. It's just really good. And Dave, lead singer, incredible hat.
Yeah, he had half of a hat and half of his mohawk, which was absolutely incredible.
It just worked. He pulled it off incredibly. Best dressed man of the festival.
Also, Lead Shot Hazard best merch. The best merch game band in the business, like absolutely.
Yeah. So who was after Lead Shot? Last edition?
So Mike Smith, who we haven't mentioned, rocked up on the Sunday, and we got chatting, and he was like, Dan, you need to see Last Edition. And I was like, I've seen the name around, I've never seen them. And he was like, no, they're incredible. And from the first like saxophone line, they're absolutely incredible. They're a force to be reckoned with. Like, I couldn't believe I hadn't seen them before.
They've been going a long time as well.
Yeah, the saxophonist was playing keys and playing saxophone at the same time as well. And she was just like blowing my mind how talented she was. And I was like, Jesus, this band is like, all of their songwriting and stuff was so good. And like, it was like, I literally, so like I was in and out, like sort of pacing myself for the whole day, just so I didn't time myself out for Sonic Boom 6 and Random Hand. But from the first song, I just stood and watched Last Edition, and they were absolutely incredible. Like, I'm properly blown away by how good they were.
Yeah, I think that was a point of the day where I really like peaked and like I was like, oh, I'm really tired. So I didn't have too much of a dance to them like I normally would, because I do love them. But yeah, just watching them, and what they like Sam is the name of the sax player. Watching her is just she is a very talented person. And the whole band write great songs, and it's just so much fun, and the crowd are always so receptive to them. So I feel like if they lived like closer to London as well, they'd be a lot more well known. I feel like if they're more in like, because they're in Leicester. I don't know what the ska scene is like in Leicester. I feel like it's not as big as it could be, or is like, or is in London. But yeah, they were great, really fun. Didn't break the New Cross in. Happy days. Do you know that story? You must have heard that story.
But breaking the stage or something?
I'm going to let you wonder what the story is, because we're about to run out of time before we talk about the next band. Suspense. Okay. And I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to let you wonder for the rest of time what that story is. Yeah, we'll come back in 1 second and talk about more bands. PSA, go buy gig tickets. Thanks. Yep. So yeah, next was Three Deeps Down, who was probably the other band I was most excited for on the Sunday. You know much about Three Deeps Down?
I've seen them. The post. It was like in the gap between the lockdowns. Paul decided to run something at the Red Lion in Gravesend. I can't remember if you were there.
I was not, sadly.
Just Say Nay played and 3DB's Down, and yeah, it was a great time. Like, I feel like they are a punk rock sort of alternative to ska sort of thing with their sound, and they're very much more my sort of style of band in that sort of sense, which is like really cool. And yeah, Paul Smith usually says that they're the best ska band. Like, he thinks that they are absolutely incredible and the best thing that's ever happened.
He does. I mean, they're up there. They are very good.
They are good.
Like, yeah, so their album they released, must have been 2020, maybe. Get Your Retaliation in First, I think is the name of it. Something about that. Something like that. Yeah, so I'd done them a couple of times since that came out, I think, at least one time. And so hearing their songs is cool, but I was interested to see how the Level Up crowd would take to it, because it's not your traditional ska punk. Like, it's sort of pop punk and then with ska elements, I think. More so than just being like you're not your Codename Colin sort of sounding band.
Yeah.
If I'm making any sense. And yeah, I think from what I was stood at the front, but from what I gathered from the people around me, like as they went on in the set, they got more and more people were like, okay, this is incredible. I felt like the crowd took a couple of songs to get warmed up to then get what was going on. It's like, that makes sense? Is that what you'd say happened?
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's very much, it's not got, yeah, it's a very different to present that sort of ska punk to the crowd, because they're not like all of the other bands on the bill, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a bit of a culture shock to people that hadn't seen them before, but like people did get into it and did enjoy it in the end, I think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like shout out for them for playing as well, especially their drummer who'd like broken their foot the day before and was adamant that he wanted to play the set. And I don't know if he put a foot wrong, so to speak, in the set, but they sounded really, really tight regardless. And like, I was talking to someone afterwards, and I was talking about the harmonies and how good they are, but then just their guitar playing, how technical it is and how much they bounce. And so what I think, like, as an incredible group of musicians, I've just watching them play live is just a mesmerizing thing. And they played a lot of my favorite songs off of the album. They played a brand new song they'd released, which I've forgotten the name of, begins with an I. There's not that many words that begin with I, so I should know. Hang on.
I didn't think it was a brand new song. I thought it was off the album, but
no, they released a brand new song and played it. I've forgotten the name of it.
It's the one where they're walking all near the beach, isn't it?
Oh no, they released another new song. They just released a single. No, it didn't begin with an I lied. It began with a U. Unconvinced, it's called.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's a brand new song. They did Idiot, Ignorant, Evil. They released a video for, but that's on the album.
Yeah, that's the one I saw. Yeah.
I've got a thing come up there. What's that mean? I'll ignore that. Is my sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds perfect, my friend.
Cool.
How were Codename Colin?
Oh, I haven't finished. Wait. I haven't finished Three Deeps
sorry.
Down yet. I just got distracted finding what the song was called. They Three Deeps, just incredible. Played Hang in There Man, which is always really cool live. Played Idiot, Ignorant Evil, and yeah, I love that band. It was so cool to see them. I'll probably see them again in a year at their next show because they just don't play shows very often. Yeah, but so Codename Colin, I would argue was the best I've ever seen them.
Oh.
And I've seen them quite a few times over the last year. It was really cool to see them get such a high slot on the bill. They were sort of basically main support, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I guess the other two were headline sets. And my one complaint with them, they don't play enough off of the new album, which is a shame because I really, really like that album. And a lot of the content on it is very like applicable to like what's going on in the world. They do like songs about climate change and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's supposed to be a fun time. Do we want to have songs that make you think about how trash the world is right now? But also, I love their songs and I'd love to hear them more.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting. Are we talking about Escape from Everything, that album?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think they've kind of. I was chatting to somebody and they kind of occupy that sort of ska territory that like Real Big Fish would, where they are playing a lot of sort of the hits sort of and like getting the crowd going sort of thing and trying to get everyone involved. So yeah, maybe they just don't want to drag people down.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But yeah, as I say, one of the best sets I've ever seen them play, definitely. Just the energy in the room was really good. Everyone was into it. And they like I've heard Charlie talk about this before. Like they usually have like the semicircle at the front where people are too scared to stand in the crowd because they won't.
Yeah.
But that space was occupied and
wonderful.
Frosty got on stage to do some singing at some point. I forget for which song off the top of my head. Kelly's Missing, obviously, so cool to hear that in a DIY space. They did their cover of Just Can't Get Enough, and like that song I think is made for ska, and who would have thought that?
Definitely.
Just the horns on that. Codename Colin were bloody great, and I say next year Charlie's going traveling, so there's only so many more opportunities to see Codename Colin before that they have a little bit of a break. So I guess make the most of it.
Yeah.
You don't know what you've got till it's gone, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of Codename Colin anyway?
You know this. I basically got some paracetamol from her and was nursing a massive headache during 3 DVs Down and Codename Colin. Okay, so yeah. my memory of both of them is really, really foggy for some odd reason. I enjoyed them. I remember enjoying them, but I think I caught like 3 songs inside and then watched the rest from outside. And yeah, it was yeah, I just thought they were good. Like that's my only sort of recollection of that 2-band like window.
Dan, the youngster struggling, Colin hardcore down the front singing.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, the next 2 bands. This was a really special moment, I think, just for the New Crossing like scene, just to have Random Hand and Sonic Boom 6 playing together at the New Crossing. Their bands, I guess, most of us, when we were getting like involved in the UK ska punk scene, they were 2 of the bands right at the forefront of it, and so to see them play together, really fucking cool. Yeah, were you alive for these bands?
Well, like Sonic Boom 6 were one of those bands where I was like, when I was 14, 15, I got into them shortly after, and I sort of like, they changed my perspective on how punk could sound and how like what you could do with it, like songs like Bigger Than Punk Rock and Sound of a Revolution. Like I was like, you can put hip hop and punk together, oh my god. And like sort of the ska like elements of that, like it was massive for me. And like the opportunities to see them haven't been fast, so I only got to see them for the first time last year. So getting to see them again is just absolutely incredible. And like, yeah, my headache had gone away, and I was very much in that moment, and I enjoyed the entire set. Like seeing Layla Kay and Barney just like absolutely just like bring a room together was fantastic, and it was like the perfect mix of like old cuts and new cuts that I really really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was very much a best of set, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but I do think it's the exact same set they played at Tilderfest.
it was exactly the same.
Yeah, but still, that they
Even
smashed that set at Tilderfest. I was very happy to see it again.
even the bit of the new song that Barney did was the same one they did at Tilderfest. Like they did like Barney sort of stopped everything, and like he's basically presented like a big rap sort of bit that was like really really political and very very potent and very aimed at Tory government and austerity, which was absolutely fantastic to hear. And if that's how the direction the new album is going, I am very very on board.
Yeah, I do hope they do go down more back to their roots with the new album, which I feel like they might be.
Yes,
And I'm all for it. And did they finish with Sound System?
they finished with Sound System,
Which got a great
love.
That's a band who very much know their crowd and know what they're doing. And to finish with an Operation Ivy cover, fair play.
Yeah, it just felt like a nice big party, and it was
yeah, it's
lovely.
just such the perfect way to warm up for Random Hand as well. Who
Yes.
headlined? I think it's the second time they've headlined Level Up Festival.
I think so. Yeah.
It's my second time. I didn't get to see them at MPF because they clashed with someone, and I knew I was seeing them at Level Up. So I was very excited to see them. And is there a better band than Random Hand?
Is there a better band than Random Hand? I'm unsure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, especially live. My God.
Again, they're another one which is an absolute force to be reckoned with. Like every song, you start it and it just like is a wall of sound, and the trombone lines like cutting through the big powerful guitar and bass like chords. It's just like it's filth. It's
I always think with
filth.
like a little brass horn line, like if you can get a crowd to sing along to that horn line, you're doing something right. And I think every single one of Robin's like trombone lines people sing along to, or like not sing, I suppose is the right word, but like chant, do an impression of, mimic, I guess. And yeah, like again, they played, I saw them in January where they did Seeing is Believing in full. This is my first time seeing them this year where they've basically done a best of set.
Yeah.
And my goodness, they destroyed it. Like every single song, banger.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
I literally have no complaints. They even played a new song that sounded incredible. Like they played my favorite is Devil's Little Guinea Pig, and they played that to like absolute it was just so good. Like and then of course they closed with Anger Management, which is like just the best Random Hand song that gets the entire crowd pulsing.
Yeah, I remember I was stood sort of side stagey with Fishlock. And I sort of said to him, like, what else have they got left? It's like Anger Management. Oh fuck yeah. One of their most well-known songs. Yeah, it's just they were so good. Like Random Hand, what a bloody band. Like you could just go on and on about just how good they are. I feel like anyone listening to this will know Random Hand and just what a force they are, like you say. And I cannot wait for a new album.
Blend of like political punk rock with just basically throwing a trombone in it. It's just like the like perfect balance of ska and punk rock together, and it's just such a great discography. And listening through it and like getting to hear everything you would ever want to hear.
Really, really empowering as well. So like Not a Number and like Scam Triumphant, and just really empowering songs. But they're also a lot of fun, like to watch. Like Robin's very quick between the songs, a very witty person. New Cross in regular Sleeman managed to lose his keys twice, and like had a bit of a joke with that. And like everyone in the room was crowd surfing. It got very hot. Shirts got removed, which I must admit I'm not a fan of, because if you want someone some strange person sweating on you. There's places in London you can probably go for that.
I was about to say I was caked in other people's sweat by the end of the random handset. Like I literally don't feel like I had. Yeah, I was just covered in liquid from being in the pits and things. It was quite disgusting, but it was also worth it. So
I was like, I'm not going in that pit. There's half naked men in there, or half naked people, and I'm very tired. I have to get a train after this. I don't want to have. It's bad enough with my own sweat without someone else's. So I'll hang out here, have a sing along. Emma was there, with Fishlock and Tommy were there. We had a lovely time. But yeah, so Random Hand closed Level Up in some style. Any sort of final thoughts on the weekend?
Yeah, I absolutely fantastic work from everyone that booked it, and the sound man, the staff, and all the bands that played. Like, I've just had an amazing time. Like, I think Jason, Mike, Paul, and Fishlock went above and beyond, like, with who they book and how good that festival felt. And I think there was a picture that went up on Facebook of Filthy Militia playing 2019, and then them playing 2022, and the room being absolutely packed in 2022 when it was half full in 2019. It just shows how much the ska scene in the UK, especially in London, has been growing and getting more powerful and sort of more like busy, essentially. And it's nice that we've been building this community for one of the best weekends every year, and I can't wait for Level Up 5.
Yeah, like this, like let's say all the bands absolutely smashed it, but it was just being in that environment with like the ska punk family and sort of seeing people you've not seen for years, even if you don't know them as such, but just recognize a face and go, oh yeah, I remember you. It's just I don't think there was any trouble all weekend from the crowd. It was just it was just amazing positivity. Everyone was just in good spirits, and it was great. Like, on a personal note, I have written this on my personal like Facebook page. Like, on the Friday, I'd had a really shit morning at work, and sort of got there. I was like, I was in no mood to like go do Level Up or anything, but I thought, well, we've paid for everything, I've got to go, otherwise it's a big waste of money. And even on like the train there, and they got to the hotel, I was like, but got there instantly. I think Paul was probably the first person I saw, and instantly it's like, oh, fuck yeah, Level Up. And just my mood, like the cloud that was over my head, just went. And it was just, being in that environment was just such a nice, life affirming, really like pleasing thing, which
it's a really community where we lift each other up and we all enjoy ourselves and we all look after each other and have a very nice time together.
Yeah,
so I'm
even
glad that you could have.
Yeah, even with, I didn't even tell anyone the whole like I was feeling bad like that week. It just, so not like anyone went out of the way to make me feel better. It was just that it's just that community has this special energy around it, and it was amazing, and I love it. And yeah, I can't wait. So like Dan says, thank you to like Paul, Mike, Fishlock, Jason, everyone who played, everyone who worked, everyone. It was amazing, and can't wait for the next one. Just one last thing before we go. I'm gonna do this on you on the spot. A band that has never played Level Up that you'd like to see play Level Up next year.
I knew you were going to do that, and I was going to ask you the same thing.
Oh shit, we've done this too many times.
I'm going to go with somebody I want to see. I want Rochambeau.
That is a good shout. That is a good shout.
I think that's a reasonable shout.
Yeah, they're doing Till the Fest, aren't they? Which is exciting.
They are doing Till the Fest, but I would really like to see them play Level Up. So
yeah. Okay, I'm going to go for. I thought of this question, didn't think of an answer for myself.
You didn't expect me to answer so quickly.
No, a band from Japan called Hey Smith.
Oh, okay. I've not heard of them.
Kind of falling along with like skate punk ska type thing, like 90s skate punk, but with really, really amazing horns. They're massive in Japan, and they're so good. Look for the
You're
song.
gonna have to link me this. This sounds incredible.
Look for the song Fellowship Anthem, and just I'll send you some YouTube videos after this as well.
Please
But
do, man.
I absolutely love them. I think it's beginning of this year, I went a proper binge of just listening to them and watching their videos constantly. So I'd like to see them. Paul, Fishlock, Michael, Jason, if you can spring a few £1,000 and book Hey Smith for me, that'd be really nice. It'll be payment for all this preview and work I do for you. Thank you. I think that's it.
I think that's it. Was I gonna put an advert on for anything?
If you wanted to.
I'm putting on a show at the weather station on the 18th of August as well, which will be On a Hiding to Nothing, Tape It Shut, Launch Control, and Sharabang. And yeah, if you're in Reading and you want something to do and you want to go to a free show, yeah, come to that.
I'll put the link for the event in the description if I remember. If not, Facebook, Google, friends. Yeah.
Then the next one of these we'll probably do. Are you doing one for Punk Rock Holiday, or are you doing one? Are you just going to do one for Till the Fest?
Oh, I was planning on doing a preview for the Punk Rock Holiday one, but I have no time because that is coming up very, very quickly. Because there's so many fucking festivals this summer. Whose idea was this? Yeah, but I will do a review, so look out for that, and we will do an album club at some point.
Yeah, I've picked my album.
I have not, and I picked the year. I'm still currently the reigning champion of album club. That's why I keep delaying it. So look out for. We got Till the Fest is coming up in October. There are some tickets still available. Buy that, because that's the most ridiculous lineup as well. That's happening in the sort of South London area. Four stages this year. Bands we spoke about today who are playing are like Malcolm, JB Conspiracy, Random Hand, Filthy Militia, maybe some others I've forgotten. Rochambeau are playing it. Loads of Cool Scar, loads of Toodles on the Hectic Pity got added. KEMS playing. Pairs are playing.
Pairs.
Barstool Preachers, Filaments.
Mirex, The Human Project.
Burnt Tapes, Triple Sunday. Making Friends and Masonette are both playing.
Nice.
It's just absolutely stacked. Ollie and I think it's mostly just Ollie by himself has absolutely smashed it. Once again, I'm really looking forward to that weekend. There's going to be football. I think there's going to be table tennis. There'll be the record stalls. Buy tickets for that. Just search Till the Fest 2. I got my tickets on Dice, so they're available on there. I'm sure they're available other places.
I've bought tickets, so yeah.
I think around the 15th, 16th of October, that a weekend near there.
That sounds correct.
Sounds about right. We're winging this bit yet. If you're still listening, thanks. That's all today because I'm hungry and have stuff to do, as does Daniel. He's got a very big gig to get ready for. So yes, thanks very much for listening. Thanks for the support. Thanks for, if you like, comment, subscribe, retweet, share, all those things. Cheers. See you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.